All right, here we go. We have Brampton's own Leo Lotus in the building. How are you doing today, man?
Very good, man.
Man, welcome to TLOY for the very first time and all that.
Thank you for having me as well, too.
It's dope to have you on here and all that. Just after hearing your recent project, Waxing Crescent, I actually liked the sound of the EP and everything else.
Thank you, man. Yo.
And then you also had the Everlasting Smooth Criminal, which is also like a dope project too. And then the Studio 145 co-op affiliation was pretty dope too. So
thank you.
Yeah, man. So let's get started. So you grew up in Brampton, that's correct?
Yes, definitely.
Most definitely. And which ends did you grow up at in Brampton, and what was like the environment like for you growing up? Would you say you had a great childhood, or was it like a different experience?
It was. I had like a normal. I would say normal Brampton childhood. Well, I wouldn't say that because me personally, me growing up in Brampton wasn't really growing up in Brampton because like every single weekend I'd actually be going to my cousin's house in Jane and Finch. So that was like my lifestyle was like Brampton Monday through Friday. Weekends, Jane and Finch, or where Shepherd, or all the way just Toronto based. Basically, that was my growing up. I was at the ends of where Chipmunk was, so I would say more so where the soccer center is in Brampton. So it transitioned from there to going to where Fletcher's Meadows is. So it was a mixture based, I would say.
And you also have like different like ethnicities too. So you're actually half Guyanese and half Nigerian.
Half Guyanese, half Nigerian. Every time I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, I thought you were Jamaican." Like that's like miscommunication, misconception every single time I walk out on the street. To be honest with you.
And I definitely know what you mean. So how was it like being in a household of like a Nigerian and Guyanese household, like in that sense too?
It is growing up. It was very. I would say very difficult in a sense of the two cultures clashing. I can say now, me and my dad have gotten very close, but growing up, pretty much did feel that big disconnection. Just because he was like the Nigerian stern dad. He came from a military family as well too, back in Nigeria. So like he had an upbringing of the military force. So having that into Brampton base, you don't really get that whole Brampton feel that usually people have the misconception of like, oh, like they're from the suburbs. So I kind of got like a different feel growing up. But nowadays, yeah, me and my dad's like locked in pretty much.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And like in that specific area in Brampton too, because I know Brampton's like big with music from TOBi to Tory to Hawaii Mighty to everyone else too. But like in the Fletcher Meadows area, was it big for music at the time in terms of being like
back in the day? Industry back in the day, I would say no, because the biggest thing about Brampton is back in the day when I was coming up, they didn't rep Brampton. If you were trying to make music, they would say Toronto. I'm from Toronto. Everybody, oh, I'm from the hood. Whereas mans nowadays, like, okay, they're put on from Brampton. Like we had PartyNextDoor went to my school. He reps Mississauga. Tory Lanez was battling from school to school all the way in Brampton. We had TLOY, which is Russell now, from Brampton as well too. Legends like that. TOBi came from Campion, same side as me, Brampton as well too. Like nowadays, like Brampton is big, but back in the days, I would say that was like a very big loss. Like we weren't even on the map.
Yeah, most definitely. And what were you like from birth until like the start of adulthood, like in that sense?
There was like two sides of me, to be honest with you. The side that I showed my mom and dad, parents, I would say growing up, people would look, my own family would actually say we were the golden family for some strange reason. Just because I had mom, dad, we didn't show that we fought each other, but there was arguments, of course. Like people didn't know I have two other brothers from different moms. That's something that a lot of my family cannot really see, they don't really see. But growing up was like, yeah, the face of like the golden child, and then the other child that was like, I had to do what I had to do, be outside. Well, I wouldn't say I was running the streets and shit, but I was definitely influenced by all my cousins and whatnot, doing whatever I needed to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, like, even in that household too, because there's like a wide variety of like music being played too. But what was like your first introduction to music and the artists or genres that you grew up like listening to?
So this question actually was crazy. Always crazy because no one actually asked this. But well known fact, a little known fact, not even well known fact. I never wanted to be an artist, and I hated music. Actually, the person who actually got me influenced into music was my dad. Every single Sunday, he'd be playing Nigerian music to ranges to soca to dancehall, then to hip hop. Burning CDs became a thing inside the house. Like I was like on this, I was downloading Lil Wayne's like LimeWire. LimeWire was pushing it. We didn't have Spotify. LimeWire was that shit. You know, we had the Soulja Boy. We had Dat Piff. R.I.P. Dat Piff. It just shut down. But yeah, that was like introduction to music was definitely the African bass before it was like Afro beats. So the live drums and everything to soca, to hip hop and R&B. But what really stuck to me, which is actually kind of crazy, is the music that my cousin used to listen to when we were down in Jane and Finch in his ends. One of my top favorite artists was Beanie Siegel. Actually, favorite song out of him is like the one where like the girls like singing is like I can feel it in the air. Yeah, that's like my favorite song of all time, to be honest with you.
Nah, most definitely. And like, did it like transition into you like getting into rapping, singing, like and songwriting too for a bit, or were there like other like influences or movements that got you like into like rapping or singing?
Yeah, definitely the influence of Lil Wayne and Juelz Santana. Like all the artists that they weren't showcasing. Like you had Juelz Santana, but you had the main face was Cameron. You had Lloyd Banks, but the main face was 50 Cent. Definitely like the underdogs of each group was like the biggest influences that made me feel like, yo, I may have a story that I want to tell. But the one that kind of solidified it for me was like that kind of just like was like, yo, people like me who are like nerds and shit can actually make music was Childish Gambino in high school. Yeah.
Most definitely. And I know that you dabbled on saying that your family like wasn't doing like anything like related to music too, but did you had like another like musical background in history from friends that made music or anyone around you, and like what inspired you to become like a rapper, singer, songwriter?
Hilarious enough, when me and my cousins would link up at my cousin's house on the weekends, we would do rap battles actually. So just even that, like just like beat searching rap battles. My older cousin, he used to go to the studio all the time too, and his boys, them like they will be rapping in the backyards as well too. But recently, I've started to realize that my dad was actually big in the DJ battles back in the day. So I'm actually trying to tap in with that his unknown history for myself right now, to be honest with you.
Most definitely. And like as I mentioned, what inspired you to take rapping and like singing songwriting like seriously, like in that sense?
So I actually wanted to be a singer before, but I could not sing for shit. Then I started rapping. Reason why I chose to actually take it personal to me was the type of music that I started to actually make started to make me feel better as well too. Because growing up, like I had the two sides of me, right? One side was showing a side that I felt kind of fake on, where the other side was living the life, but I had to keep it down low. When it came to music, I actually was able to express that and put it out there. And to be honest with you, even when I used to show my parents, like I think they didn't believe it in a sense. So it kind of gave me more of like a relief, like, yo, I'm actually showing you a side that you don't see, but you're not believing it. So it's kind of like the helium effect, where like you release helium in the air and disappears. So if that kind of relief was like helpful to me, so I took it a lot more seriously because I was like, I can make a connection with this music and actually touch other people's hearts as well too, and maybe they're going through the same type of shit that I'm going through.
And like just speaking on like into like collaborations and such like that, like do you have any like people that you want to work with someday, music wise or non-music wise, in terms of anyone from the city or anyone like that like who's like your favorite artist, like in that sense too?
Ooh, can this be about like people that's dead as well too?
Maybe if it happens.
If it happens, if I could ever get a Nipsey Hussle verse, that's like a dream come true. Of course, it's gonna be Drake. That'll be something big. But notable people that like I feel like if I actually made songs with them, it'll be like, yeah, I'm there. Definitely Childish Gambino. He's definitely a top guy as well too. From the city, I would say Tory Lanez. That's a big one. The Weeknd, Justin Bieber. If I can make a track with Justin Bieber, that'd be sick.
I mean, with Tory, I mean, he's kind of locked up, but like maybe if you could like speak with his people, like maybe you could like
Maybe, to be honest
reverse,
with
like, for the
you,
low, you know, maybe.
yeah, like if I can, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna front. I'm a big Tory Lanez fan. Like I've watched him from since freestyling battles in Emin Campion to Fletcher's to like him actually going like that's like that right there. Like people will can say, what's the closest artist that I've seen that I can pretty much just say, yo, I can when I seen him do it, I can do it. I would definitely say it was Tory Lanez. That's like the person who I would say, okay, that paved kind of a way of saying, yo, it's actually real, in a sense.
Oh, for sure, man. And I just want to find out, like, how did you get your stage name by any chance, like Leo Lotus?
So it's funny because I'm actually a Leo, but I'm a cusp Leo. So my stage name used to be actually J Jammer, which my mom used to call me Jay all the time. And Jammer was my first ever nickname I actually got in high school. Leo Lotus was actually more so of like a growing phase where I'm like, yo, what do I feel like who I am? So I really connect with the sign Leo as well too. But lotus flowers have always been my favorite flower. Yeah.
And you know, getting into more so like on musical right now, like what's your creative process like when making music, and what would a day in recording or making music be like for you?
Oh man. So if it's a day, it'll be of course finding the beat, maybe having a little drink on the side, just so I can loosen up a bit from a long day. And I am very selective with beats. I run through a bunch of beats in like one take. So if I don't like the first 30 seconds of the beat, I'm not fucking with it. But it'll be like pretty much just vibes going on. I'll say maybe I'll write like maybe 6 songs, not full, like 6 half songs. And if I feel like one of them is like very much so, okay, we're getting to the chorus, then I'm like, okay, I could work with that and finish that off that same night, to be honest with you.
Man, most definitely, man. And you know, getting into EPs right now. So recently with Wax and Crescent, and then the Everlasting Smooth Criminal. What were like the inspirations and creative processes for this EPs?
So I would start off with the Everlasting Smooth Criminal. That one was basically something that I was doing as more so a monologue for myself, which is pretty much I have a song called Red Zone, which I have a music video out, just a minute music video out. But it was just a monologue of like storytelling versus Wax and Crescent is actually on a bigger scale right now. Wax and Crescent is actually, I have a full 8 EP coming out. Just to let you guys know, like 8 EPs now. This is the first segment. Wax and Crescent is actually one of the 8 moon phases. The next one that's coming out soon, hopefully this year, if everything goes well, is going to be called First Quarter. So be on the lookout for that.
Right, most definitely, man. And you know, like I actually researched that 2 of your songs.
Oh, Desert Sand and Dark Fantasy.
Yeah, like
yes,
like they were like the most streamed songs on Spotify from what I've noticed.
sir.
Like one being like 50K, and then I think another being 39K or 40K, like on Spotify too.
Yeah.
So like, how is it like receiving like that accolade so far, and if it like ever changed for you in a way?
So those actually are like my babies. I try to perform those as much time as I want. Those are actually 2 of the biggest songs I have released to this day, and are growing ever more because they are on NBA 2K21. So they're on the official playlist for it, as well as if you have NBA 2K21 My City, the online version, you can listen to those songs in game. And even those songs were literally like one day from scratch. Like we had no beat. I walked in, they were making the beat. I said, let's fuck with it. I wrote the lyrics, and that song was made. Like both of them was made. Dark Fantasy, because of the switch, the time period of when it came out, people were thinking that it was more so on the Drake and Travis Scott song, but the inspiration is actually from August 26th. That's what the song is called, I believe, from Post Malone, actually.
True. Most definitely, man. And, being affiliated with Studio 145 Co-op, like, I've noticed from the stories, I've actually interviewed, like, a lot of people, like JD.
Yes, sir.
and
The
Vince
dog
and all
them,
that,
yeah.
Just too. So I actually want to find out, like, how you got affiliated with them and what was it like working with them in terms of your musical journey and process, and, like, what was, like, that
It's actually funny because the way that I actually got affiliated was from Dexray. So me and Dexray actually worked at a place called Weeper and What You Want. And I met Dexray there, and he was an artist, and he was like, yo, bro, I have a studio. I was like, okay. Like, I'm looking, like, I was in the transition of, like, because I was working with my guys from, they're not affiliated with them anymore, but Yan Chan, Brian, TJ, and Mike T, my dogs, I was working with them before, and I had a transition of, like, just like, okay, I want to kind of take a break and pursue independently. And then I met Dexray, and then he led me over to Studio 145. Like, very big community, man. Like, they're like, it's a tight knit community. I suggest people to always fly through, man. Yeah, it's a great community. I don't know what else there's so much to say about them because, like, working with them, even in a sense of music wise, everybody has a different sound. Everybody has a different work ethic, as well as everybody is open to giving critical comments on your music as well too, which is very big. I always suggest people to always, like, whenever you're making music, send it out to people so they can let you know, okay, what's good, what's bad. Even like the producer wise is like they got JD, Tiger, Magic, they got, God damn, I'm missing so much names right now. Jesus, my bad, guys, if I don't remember your names. But all the dog them that's in there, that's Studio 145, like we work night and day, to be honest with you. So even any day, even today, I could pull up there and someone's gonna be working on some music, man.
Yeah, no, most definitely, man. And, like, what were some things that, like, you've learned from them, and, like, what they've learned from you that you both used to incorporate within, like, your musical and business, like, careers in that sense?
What I learned from them, though, was the work ethic to tighten up, as well as grants. That's something that I never actually thought of going into. And the sense of community that you can actually make a community down here. To be honest with you, like, before going to them, I kind of had a sense of, like, I can't really... sometimes I still do have the sense, but sometimes I feel like there's not a community down here that's, like, you can bounce off each other and actually pull each other up. Down there, like, they actually showed me, it's actually possible. What they learned from me was, I don't really know what, craziness, to be honest with you. I can see that what they learned from me was more so like an open-mindedness. Because when I come, I pretty much do anything that I set my mind to, like, even with, like, the Twitch stuff. I know they wanted to do that from before, but then after I just literally just downloaded the shit, started doing it, man started seeing it, they're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, you actually set up, like, yeah, like, let's get this shit running. Like, so I would say that, like, they just learned something that they learned from me was just, like, the open-mindedness to be, like, open more to just doing instead of just always planning for everything.
What's next for you in terms of other creative projects and so forth? Like, I know you have the first quarter project that's going to be dropping soon, but do you have anything else like in hand that's going to be coming soon? And do you have any final words you'd like to say for any creative or any person out there pursuing their dreams?
Next up is going to be the walk-in video. Going to be shooting that very soon. And to talk more about the first quarter EP that's coming up, 7-song EP, we're actually going to be filming something very big for it. So be on the lookout for that. For anybody that's going to be watching this, the interview as well too, that's like starting up or wants to start up, fucking do that shit, man. No reason for you to be like just worrying about it, thinking about it. Maybe whatever your idea is, someone may be thinking about that as well. And even the music that you make can touch Indonesia. My music right now is playing in Portugal right now. So yeah, you never know, man.
Nah, Leo Lotus, thank you for coming by, man. I've been rocking with the music so far since Waxing Crescent, so like it's been interesting from there too, man. And just seeing your growth and seeing your journey right now, and even like receiving many accolades, it's like amazing to see and all that. And I wish like nothing but the best for you either way, So.
Thank you very much, man. I'm just trying to be a Brampton runner. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to put Brampton on the map properly. That's all it is now.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Like, we'll definitely tap in, you know, like, and hopefully I wish nothing but the best for you, like, in terms of your growth, your career with Studio 145 and everything else, too. So
Yes, sir.
it's only up from there, you know?
Studio 155 till I die. Fuck. I must mess that shit up, man. They are gonna clown me for days.
No worries, man. Until next time.
Yes, sir. Done though, man.